Hello, hello, and welcome to Discover Brightside. We are doing Empower Wellness and Health. This is our monthly series, and thank you all, Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere, Instagram, for all your wonderful comments and for subscribing to our channel. So, thank you so much for paying attention. And yes, if you write us a comment, you can get 2 tickets to our next recording and a free consultation with Estee World if you are interested in going to Turkey for any procedure that you might want. So here I have a veteran, and as you know, we are the winners of the North Carolina Veteran Business Association. We love veterans, and we have a dedicated hour on our show each month called the Veterans Luncheon. And this luncheon is to not just say thank you for your service, because that we do anyway, but to say thank you for not just retiring and doing nothing with your life, but rather give back to the community, start a business, and do something. Because when you start a business, guess what? You are helping the economy, you are employing people, and you're moving towards helping us be more sustainable. So, believe it or not, as a business owner, you are doing something remarkable. So, over to you. Our staff, Reginald Lyerly, has served the U.S. Armed Air Force 23 years, and he has also been a combat veteran. He's gone into war, come back safe and sound to us. So we are so grateful to him. And over to you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And thank you, everyone took the time out of their day to be on this podcast is much appreciated. And a huge shout out to the Discover Brightside community. The month of May is Military Appreciation Month. And so it means a lot of things to a lot of people, whether you've served in the veteran military community or you haven't. But it affects all of us. I just want to give a brief overview of why that's so important and just maybe a brief history lesson. And we can see how this can be very important for us all. Let me show my slide here. But while this is loading, I'll give you a brief overview of who I am. Of course, I'm Reginald Lyerly. I served 23 years within the United States Army. I got to go various places. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be with you today and to share this very important message about military appreciation. And if I can get my slides to cooperate, then I will be able to do what we need to do. Okay. Anyway, we adapt and we overcome. No slides, but that doesn't mean I can't share the story because the military trained me to adapt and always adjust on the fly. Military Appreciation Month is very important, and it's very important for this. You think from May 31st all the way to May 31st, Congress decided, hey, we're going to have an actual entire month to appreciate the military and everything that it does. Now, let's look at the first of the month. I'm going to start with Loyalty Day. Now, that was enacted on May 1st, 1955, and this was proclaimed by Dwight D. Eisenhower. This was going to be a dedicated day to declare loyalty to the United States and to acknowledge its history. So, as we started early in the month with Military Appreciation Month, that's what we started with. Now, let's go into a little bit further. May 8th, Victory in Europe Day. May 8th, 1945. That's a very important day in not just American history, but also world history. And this is when Nazi Germany formally surrendered to the Allied powers in World War II. So Victory Day is very important, and that's May 8th. Military Spouse Appreciation Day. It was established in 1984 by President Ronald Reagan. And this is typically the Friday before Mother's Day. And I'll give you a little background on this one. Whether it's a military spouse or military husband, of course, when that service member serves, that family, if they're not doing what they're doing, that service member is not going to be able to do what he or she needs to do. And think about it. That's when that person's deployed. That's when that person is managing moves. They're managing the household. They're pretty much doing everything to be able to enable that service member to be able to perform at his or her best. This was a dedicated day to remember and honor those sacrifices. Think about it. If a service member serves, trust me, there is a family that is helping and enabling that service member to do what he or she is being empowered to do. And that's typically the Friday before Mother's Day. Now let's go a little bit further into the month. And everybody, I'm sure, has heard of Armed Forces Day at one time or another, right? Let me give you a little history about this. This was established in 1949 by then Secretary of Defense Lewis Johnson. And this is typically on the third Saturday of May. And this is supposed to honor all those who are on active duty, whether you're active component, guard, or reserve. And this is very separate from Veterans Day that is in November. This is definitely for all six branches: the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force. We're remembering all those people. And of course, as we go to the latter end of the month, and a lot of people are very familiar with Memorial Day. And of course, that's the last Monday of the month. And the history of Memorial Day actually goes back to the Civil War, but it was actually made an official observance in 1971. And of course, that's going to be coming up Monday of next week. I talked about these observances and within Military Appreciation Month and why that's so important. You may be asking yourself, okay, well, this is great, but what can I do to help participate in the process? Well, that's easy. Remembering the observances. Um, if you see someone in uniform, you know of someone that served, just thank them for their sacrifices. If you know their military spouse, thank them for what they do. And I often feel like they don't get the thanks that they rightly deserve, because there is so much that they do that goes that goes seen and unseen. If it's Armed Forces Day, thank someone you know that is currently serving, that is still carrying that banner. Those of us who have retired, we are a part of that great history. But there are people who are carrying that banner right now, and that's definitely deserves thanks. And of course, Memorial Day. I remember serving on active duty. More specifically, when I served at Fort Jackson at the U.S. Army Institute for Religious Leadership. Um, I remember taking students out to the National Cemetery and putting down U.S. flags. That's one way to recognize and remember the fallen. But there are so many different things that can be done. And as we go into this upcoming weekend, there's going to be a lot of things happening, a lot of parades, a lot of different things to remember, just to remember the sacrifices that people make. So just to recap, we talked about Loyalty Day. We talked about Victory Day in Europe with World War II. We talked about Military Spouse Appreciation Day. We talked about Armed Forces Day. And we talked about Memorial Day. And it's just a brief overview about Military Appreciation Month and why it's so important. I also am proud that one of my senior leaders that mentored me in my career is also on this call, and I'm grateful that she's on here. Service is a part of who I am. You can take that uniform off, but if you want to serve and you want to continue to serve, it never leaves you. So you're always going to hear me say, service never stops. And it doesn't, because it is so important each and every day in what we do. Thank you for taking the time to be on here. Brightside, Discover Brightside community, thank you for the time to hear what I have to say as it reflects Military Appreciation Month. Thank you for each and every one of you for your sacrifices that you make. And I believe this is going to be the end of my message that I hope to share with this community. Thank you so very much. Elizabeth, back to you. Thank you very much for the kind words. I wanted to turn this back over to Elizabeth or Elton, whichever is on the line.
I'm here.
Okay,
Thank you.
Elton.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much, Reginald. We really appreciate it. I just want to amplify what you have just said. We have so much to be grateful for all the many contributions that our veterans have made, and that the freedoms that they have fought for, physically fought for, make us the community and the country that we cherish being. Your contributions, as well as many others, the the profound sacrifice of being away from family, loved ones, and friends, and in some cases, those people that we do acknowledge, they made the eternal sacrifice that we Americans enjoy the freedoms that we have. I am so grateful, and I do take this time out, as all times, to relish, appreciate, and thank the contributions of those who have. Now, and I want to take this opportunity to recognize the people who serve in our communities, in our cities and provinces. You know, civil service isn't easy. It isn't easy. It exposes you to all kinds of criticisms and ridicule. But, we have to stand tall, stand broadly, stand up. As my mother used to tell me all the time, she would say, stand up, speak up, and shut up. I mean, be recognized for what's important and the things that you do. I mean, and when we do those things, we are recognized. And even if we're not, there's work that must be done, and there's still continual work. And I am grateful that we can have such a hosted profile to recognize those people and businesses that are working hard to provide employment, providing opportunity, providing exposure, and visibility to who we are as a nation and a culture. Oh my goodness, it's just so profound when you think about. I mean, I'm sorry, but I had the opportunity to serve in the military, and I pursued academics. But it's okay. But my ROTC professional said, he told me, he said, now, because I had and I say this to you, and I think about it now. I had an 8 o'clock ROTC a provisional call for the Air Force on my campus. My problem was I had an 18-hour full schedule academic class course, and my 8 o'clock ROTC course interfered with the only time I could get to have breakfast. 8 o'clock.
That's not a good example.
Well, I'm being honest with you. I had a full day every day, 3 4 hour classes, and and if I didn't eat breakfast, my whole day was ruined. I mean, I grew up in a household that you start your day with a good breakfast, and you could go all day long. And so in school, I mean, and I'm being honest with you, at 8 o'clock, and I wouldn't get to eat again till evening at the dinner mess. I said, man, and my ROTC master said, listen now, you're gonna have to pay for this. And you're gonna have to do some good things for our community and culture to sacrifice. And I said to him, it's Captain Miller was his name. I remember it to this day. I remember. He was a great guy. He was a really super guy. And we were always friends. We were always friends because we had good respect for each other. But at the end of the day, remember that all that we do is all that we do.
Yes.
All that we do is all that we do. And we live in a great culture, a great community of people. And I cherish each one of you for the work that you're doing. And I want to make sure that I'm standing in the corner screaming praises for the work that you do. And I'm not just saying go, 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 go. I'm saying go, go, go. Do the best you can do for the people that you do it for. And I've known Reginald for some time, and I have to say that we had the good privilege of receiving an award for the Veterans Administration for the state of North Carolina. And we're going to scream veterans praises from now on. And we're going to step forward to be who they need us to be. And so, and So you all, and you have, you're such enormously incredible people. I see your faces, and I see that, and actually, I see the determination in your faces. And so, let us comrade together. Let us surround each other. Let us support each other and encourage each other in a way that even when times are tight, they're close and they're challenged, that we find the nerve, the courage, and the capacity to keep moving. Yeah, and I tell my proteges and friends and colleagues all the time, pedal. Well, pedal faster, pedal faster. So I mean, because at the end of the day, there'll come a time when you can't pedal anymore. But while you can, do what you can.
Yes.
So, and for the kids, and and while we may not see each other so often, and I pray that we do, there are people that live in your communities and that have the great privilege of working the way you do. I love doing this, and if you don't mind, I'm going to take just a couple of moments to recognize those who are on the line. If you could tell me your name, the companies that you work for, and the communities that you live in, and what's the weather like. If you don't mind, just go around the room. Reginald, you shout out name, the company you work for, where you're at, and the communities that you live in, and what's the weather like. Four things. Sally.
And your favorite veteran association. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. I'm Reginald Lyerly, chiming in from Charlotte, and work with numerous different businesses. And the weather is, I'm grateful to look out. It's pretty nice. It's getting warmer, of course, especially yesterday. Yesterday in Raleigh was a lot warmer being on the golf course, but it's definitely the sun is out, the heat is rising, but that's a good thing because you can see the blue sky. And the sky's the limit then.
Amazing.
All right,
Yes.
all right.
All right, Jackie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jackie Carroll, founder and CEO of Gamecraft. So that's who I work for 100% of the time, and I love it. I am in Southern California, and I connect within my community, within gamers and educators, both at schools and for homeschooling. And really, our belief is just that play is powerful. And right now, the weather is getting hot, like hot. And then it's also getting a little windy, but we're getting through it. Thanks for having me.
Very good, very good.
Okay, Samantha. Did I say it right? Samara.
Samara. You're like spell check. So hi, my name is Samara Beth, and I'm in sunny Scottsdale, Arizona. It's actually only in the 80s, but we did hit 111 degrees last week, so it's like this all the time. And my company is Samara Beth and Co. Like many of you, many of you are military. I was married to a nuclear submarine officer in the Navy, and I have lived in 13 states, 2 countries, and I just moved to my 31st home. And so excited so JC's gonna be in Phoenix. So yeah, so we live in Paradise Valley, Phoenix area, and would love to see you guys. We're surrounded by restaurants and amazing things to do. As a veteran spouse, and an event planner, I've planned more Navy balls than I can count. And I also have planned many events for all the schools that my kids would move to. Being an event planner is an occupational hazard when you're in the military and moving around, because as soon as they ask you, what do you do for a living? You're like, oh, I guess I'm volunteering and chairing all the galas this year. So that is what we do as in addition to branding. So anyway, it's great to meet you guys, and thank you for the space.
Very welcome. Thank you.
We had a Marine this morning on the show, and they're organizing a dance performance for the very first time at the New York Marine Museum. I don't know if many of you have been to New York, and there's that big ship that's a museum. So this is the first time they're going to actually have a performance on it. So I'll connect you to him.
That's amazing. I was actually a corporate event planner in New York City since the 90s. So we used to plan events on the military ships as well.
Yeah, so that would be great. All right. So over to you, Dr. Raj.
Okay. Thank you, Pastor Elton, and thank you, Elizabeth. And it is really an honor to be with you and also these distinguished guests. And first, I want to say uh, congratulations, Reginald. And our prayers and thoughts always go to our military spouses, military people, and we're really grateful for their hard work and their freedom. So they're always in our prayers. We thank you for your service, and I thank you for all the people who are in the front lines fighting for us. My name is Rajesh Javalagi. I'm a business consultant. I'm a speaker, and also I just completed many years of my time in higher education. I was running a school of business both in public and private universities as an administrator, as an associate dean, and dean of business schools. And while I was working in the higher education, I had a tremendous opportunity to work with entrepreneurs, business people, and God placed me among these people. So I really enjoyed. I live in Ohio, and most of you know Ohio weather is unpredictable, cold, winter, again very hot. But in the last 2 days, it has been extremely hot, but we can't complain. So we get rarely some hot weather. We are enjoying it. Again, I'm very delighted to be with you and share with you what God has put in my heart. In the middle, if I keep drinking some water, that is simply because I'm coming down with a slight cold. So I thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
So,
Thank you.
JC, second, is can you see your video?
Second.
No, it's me. It's me, Elizabeth. And the reason is because my second monitor will eliminate my audio. So I logged in with a second computer so that if I do see and we do play the game, I have an opportunity to see the chat and then I can respond on it, but I also can see the main page without one. So it's just me using my technology in ways I have to because it always doesn't work the way you want it to.
Yeah, I know. Look at my screen. It's going in and out too. So it's just technology. All right. So thank you all for joining us on our show today. And we will now stop recording. And please don't forget to subscribe. Tell us what you think. And happy military appreciation. I'm going to try to do some more promotions this month so that we can appreciate you all so very dearly. So thank you so much. Now, talking about the food, I have one last story to tell before we come into the next section. Now, I came from a military family. I don't know if many of you know this, but my grandparents and my aunts all served in the army or navy. They were governors, they were controllers. So I had a complete civil background. And so, talk about food. We would have beautiful tables for Christmas or for holidays, and they would get a call and they had to go to work. And so that beautiful table of food that Elton is talking about, his breakfast, how important, the whole table would get up. And I, as a little girl, would be left with the maid and, the leftover people to finish the food because all my uncles and aunts and everybody were called to serve and they would all have to leave the table. And I would be the one with the children or whatever, or leftover people. We would be left behind. And I would cry because, you wanted to see your uncles and your aunts and your grandparents and they were gone to serve. And my mother would never ate. She was a piano teacher and she was an educator, so she was always on call. And being the only person that could play the piano in India, in this whole area, she was called for every service, every funeral, every church, every wedding. So she was never able to eat her meal in time. So service calls for sacrifice. So Reginald, we know what sacrifices are all about. And I really, really thank you for your service. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm going to stop recording now. I think this is right. There we go.